Good evening and welcome back to the show. We're so glad to have you back with us. I have some exciting and very informative guests for you this evening. The first guest, we have Genoveva Lopez Angelo. She's the Assistant Superintendent for Nye County, and she's going to be telling us a lot about education. So all you parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, we want you to go ahead and take down a lot of information because I know you want your students to be the best they can be. And here's a person that can help them accomplish that goal. Jen, I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Hi, nice to see you.
We are so glad to have you on the show this evening. And I just want to, because I want to ask so many questions about education, since we both have education backgrounds, how about telling the audience who you are, how you got here, just something about yourself?
Okay, well, so I am a native of California.
Okay.
I moved to Nevada 19 years ago. When I moved here, I moved to be a kindergarten teacher in Clark County. So I started my career 19 years ago this August. It was fun and exciting, and I'm that goal-oriented type of person. So I originally held a bachelor's degree in early childhood.
Okay.
I went back to school and obtained a master's in education and continued my role as a kindergarten teacher moving into first grade. I worked a little on the side with CSN, so
Okay.
College of Southern Nevada, with civil classes for English language learners, so it was adult learners who were trying to learn the English language. That gave me a love for working with adults. And so I set a new goal, and my goal was I want to be a college teacher. Well, instead of becoming a college teacher, I went back to school and worked on a master's in reading specialist and English language learner. I thought I wanted to branch out and work with adults, so I stayed with Clark County and became a project facilitator, which essentially is a coach in a certain subgroup. So I was an instructional coach for a reading grant, and I was very lucky to do that for about 6 or 7 years. And then I went back to school because I didn't think I was done learning, and I obtained a master's in educational leadership.
Wow. Okay. Keep going.
After that adventure, I knew that if I wanted to be a school building administrator, I should go back into the classroom and just work on those strategies that I was coaching others on and make sure that they were still relevant, that the research was accurate, and that they were working. I needed that street credibility, so to speak, so that I could support all teachers in a building. So I was in my program for 2 years while I taught second grade. When I finished my program, I knew I wanted to hopefully be in a school building, and I heard about Nye County, and I looked into some positions that they had, and I was so blessed to be picked to be the assistant principal at Mance Elementary in 2019. So I was here for a short time, and then the pandemic hit, so that was interesting.
Yes, it was.
I was navigating being a brand new assistant principal through the pandemic and trying to figure all of those things out. It was an exciting adventure for me. I learned a lot about how to run a building, how to work with parents, how to be virtual, but then in person there was just so many challenges. I had an opportunity after 2 years to apply for the principal position at Mance Elementary. I was very happy to be the principal of Mance. I love my school. And then most recently, with the change of superintendents, I was given an opportunity to apply for assistant superintendent, and that is how I am here. I have my curriculum background, coaching, learning focused, working with not only students, but also parents and teachers. And now I am so blessed to not just work in one school, but I get to work with all of our schools and help make the strategic plan possible for all of us.
About how many schools do we have in Nye County?
So we have, oh my goodness, I would have to count them. We have 4 elementaries here, plus the middle school and high school, so that's 6, plus Mount Charleston 7, Pathways is 8, and then we have Amargosa, Beatty, Tonopah, Round Mountain, so we're at 12 plus Gabb's 13, but in there they have pre-K to 12, some of our schools,
Okay.
so we have 18 total schools.
Wow. And she's managing all of this. Now, I do have to ask this question because they need to know, have you been in the community to talk about some of the things that you're trying to accomplish?
So, yes, as a principal, I worked with my school community directly.
Okay.
Right now, as assistant superintendent, Dr. Gent has been invited to different places, and I was very lucky to go to the Chamber of Commerce with him just
Fantastic.
recently.
Yes.
So I was able to share some of what I do to ensure that his strategic plan, our strategic plan, is continuing to stay learning focused. I had that opportunity. We also have opportunities at roundtables with our communities. So for example, we have a board meeting in, let's say, Gabb's. We will invite the school community to come
Okay.
in before the board meeting, and we have a roundtable, and we just hear what the community needs. They can ask us any questions, and then our goal is to support them.
When you have a roundtable discussion, for those that are watching, when you have a roundtable discussion and you have the educators that are there trying to accomplish something for the community, it is so important that you have the right questions to ask. And they're willing, more than ready and willing, to respond to the needs of our community. Now, something we hadn't talked about is the fact that this show airs a lot in Clark County as well as Nye County. So a lot of people in Clark County right now are saying, we want her back. So, but it's too late. You can move over to Nye County and you can still get a chance to benefit from all the things that she's doing for our community. And this also impacts Clark County as well, because we have some people that come over and they go back and forth between the counties. So Jen is here and she's going to be telling us a lot about what's going on with the strategic plan, the strategic goals, and just things that they have for the community. So Jen, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you tell the audience what your goals are.
Perfect. So our strategic plan is focused in 4 areas. Our vision is that all students and staff are learning at high levels.
Great.
Our mission is that we are learning focused. We are, of course, an education entity, so we want to focus on learning.
Yes.
And refining those practices, getting better. So our 4 areas are being learning focused, a professional learning community where we allot the time and place for educators to come together and discuss how we're making progress towards any of our goals. The next one is allocation of resources. We don't want to waste time or money. We need to ensure that we're
Absolutely.
putting money where
Yes.
it's needed, and then being mindful of research and what we really need for our kids.
Okay.
Sometimes what is best for a big city is not really what's best for our remote rural
Yes,
county,
yes.
right? So we want to make sure we're putting in the right resources at the right time so that we are supporting them. Also, our talent management, talking about our neighbor next door, we all struggle with filling positions, and I am so happy that we finally have been thinking about how do we recruit, how do we build our own teacher pipeline. We do get some teachers from Clark County. We do have people who move into our town, but we need to be thinking about the future. How do we build our pipeline? And
Beautiful.
one
Yes.
of the exciting new things we're doing is that UNLV has a paraprofessional pathway project, which essentially pays for any paraprofessional who is working for us. They pay for their educational degree.
How widespread is that? I mean, how many people know about this? It's something I hadn't heard about.
So I'm excited to say that last spring we did host a meeting for administrators. Everybody heard about the program, and then we invited UNLV, not just here to host in Pahrump for our teachers. We also invited them up to Tonopah so that all of our remote rural schools can hear about the program. And I don't have the number, I should have looked that up. We have a lot of teachers or paraprofessionals who are in the pathway now. that are working for us and working towards their teaching credential.
Explain the program again and how it's free and cost-free to the participants.
So the program is a pathway for any paraprofessional who already works in Nye County. So you might be a paraprofessional in the classroom, you might be in food service, you might be a long-term substitute. If you are employed by Nye County, you can apply for the pathway through UNLV. UNLV has cohorts of people in the program. Yeah. When you're in the program, you can receive all of your teacher education to earn your credential virtually, and it is free of cost. UNLV has obtained grants, and I'm going to say that I wish I would have received my education for free, but it's just a great way for us to build our own teacher pipeline with people in our community, especially our most rural, remote schools, where somebody might not think about working in Round Mountain, but we might have someone there who's like, you know what, I think I do want to be a teacher, and this is so helpful, not only for our school community, but for that person as well, right? We want to continue to grow.
You know, with all the information you've provided already, I hope everybody that's watching the program this evening, they're taking notes. And if you need to contact Jen and say, look, I have some questions about this, I just want to know how I can participate, because this is an outstanding program. Helps you get your credentials. It helps you become, I'm going to say, part of the education community to help our students. And it's so important, as she was stating, to build the base of teachers right here in our own community so that we don't have to go outside. But come back and join us in the next session. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. I still have Genoveva Lopez Angelo. She's the Assistant Superintendent for Nye County School District, and she's been providing a lot of information. But there's so much more information that we want to provide to each one of you as parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, anybody that has any concern about student education. And this is why she's here today. So Jen, I want you to come back and let's talk about how we can get others engaged in helping our students.
Absolutely. So quite recently, the leadership team, so that would be the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, some of our directors, that level of leadership, we had a professional development day where we looked at the current board goals for our district. We worked out collaboratively all day and tried to figure out and navigate how can we refine these so that they're connected with our strategic plan. We want to be learning focused, but also make them measurable so that we can measure how we're doing, right? We want to have a goal that's lofty enough that we can reach, but we want to track our progress.
Absolutely.
So we came up with 5 goals. There's 2 that are instructional, and then 3 that I think touch on having the community be engaged. Those would be our culture goals. And when we think about culture, we want kids and families, our staff, everyone to feel that they are welcomed in our schools, that our schools are clean and safe environments, right? We need to have that in order to feel good about learning and our learning environment. So we have 5 goals. Goal 4 is parent and community engagement, which I think is very important. I am a parent. I am a grandparent. I want to know what my kids were doing back then. I'm a grandma now. I want to know how my grandbabies are doing at school. And I love to treat all of our kids as if they were my family. So I want to be involved, and I know that there has to be a happy medium of how I bridge what we're doing in the school and how we're getting that information to families and how we're inviting them and helping them be a part of their child's education. So this goal, the goal for this goal is for us to improve and increase our parent engagement.
Well, let me ask you this question, because I know that we have some in the audience that's asking, look, I have a question about this. How can I get in touch with Jen and ask more? Now, who can they contact to find out more information about what you're talking about tonight?
So parent engagement, it's going to start with your child's school,
Okay.
right? So you want to make sure that you're in connection with your school administrator, the classroom teacher. Our goal is to put out surveys district-wide to find out what parents need and then create that survey feedback loop. If I know
Okay.
what you need, then I'm better able to serve you and meet that need. But
like
it's
that.
not just district level. At the school level, our administrators are actively working with their committees in their school, and they are planning activities. They also provide surveys. So if we invite you for a math night, we should have a survey. Did the math night meet your expectations? What types of events would you want to come? What information do you need? So that we're using parents' voices to create the space for us to come together and collaborate and discuss what our kids' needs. I know some of our schools also, aside from the surveys, invite parents in for coffee with the administrator or coffee and donuts with our social workers. You know, we invite you in, let's just have a conversation. What needs do you have? How can I help you with your students? We are also, aside from creating that feedback loop, we want to have some family engagement personnel. So someone identified at your school so that if a parent has a question and the building administrator is busy, we have someone that they can go to, whether it's a teacher
that's
or
perfect.
a secretary or my clerical aide or a paraprofessional, someone that could facilitate and navigate those questions and then bring us together so we can look at the surveys and we're ensuring that we're meeting not just the school's needs, but our community's needs. And each school community, their needs are going to vary, right?
Yes.
So we need to be able to hear the feedback and then come up with creative solutions to bring our parents in.
So the community and the school working together for the benefit of the students.
Absolutely.
And if a parent, grandparent, great-grandparent, we keep saying that, if you have a student and you have some concerns about what that student is getting, receiving, as far as educational opportunities, and that's what she's saying, there's somebody in your local school that you can go and talk to, the administration, the teachers, or someone. And from that point on, you can make sure that they're providing the information that you need to help your student. And so it's so important that the community and the school is working together for the benefit of the educational purposes for the student.
Absolutely.
This is why she's here this evening. She's here to let you know that not only do they have a strategic plan, but they also have strategic goals. And these goals are to make sure your student is receiving all the educational opportunities that's available within Nye County, and they're going to work to make sure it's available for you.
Yes. Would you like to hear another goal?
Yes.
Okay, our next goal, which I know this is in the forefront of many families, cleanliness and physical safety. I need to make sure that kids feel like they are safe at school.
Safety is important.
Safety is very important. So we have put in the single point entries. We make sure that families and visitors sign in so we know who's coming into our schools. We are putting out surveys quarterly to our staff so that if they are feeling unsafe or something is not being taken care of, something is broken and could be a potential hazard, that we are being notified immediately. There is a new work order system that administrators will be monitoring on a weekly basis. We know things happen, but we need to be vigilant and aware of the conditions of our schools.
Yes, okay.
So that we are responsive and children feel like, hey, my school is clean, it feels safe, and it feels good. I'm ready to learn. If I'm in a room that doesn't feel safe, warm, inviting, it could make it more difficult to feel like I want to learn. I might be distracted by other things. So we're putting in measures to support building administrators and all of our staff to ensure that we're responding and that we're making changes in a timely manner so that at the end, we're creating those safe environments for all of our students and staff.
You know, one of the things you mentioned is the cleanliness. In one of my schools, we did something that I think is unique. I've talked to other administrators that have also implemented it, and it's catching students. Students are caught when they're doing something wrong. Why not catch them when they're doing something good? And what we did was each morning, from the day before or the week before, we would name students that were caught doing something good, whether it was helping a classmate, picking up a piece of paper in the hall. It didn't matter. If somebody observed it, they reported it, and we announced that student's name to say thank you, we caught you.
I love that. That contributes to that positive culture, and we're building those communities. We need to make phone calls home that are positive.
Yes.
I don't want a parent to see our district phone or the school phone number lit up on their cell phone and they're like, oh, the school's calling again. I want them to be excited that we're giving them also good news, and that does develop that culture of feeling safe. Safe isn't just that everything looks safe. Safe is that I'm in a good space where I'm going to be celebrated for my milestones and then supported when I make a mistake, right? When you make a mistake, that's part of growing, and we need to make that be acceptable and cheer people on when they are doing good things. And even when you make a mistake, it's okay, we're learning from that mistake.
Learn from the mistakes.
I love that positivity.
That's what it's all about. And you can just listen to what Jen is saying and some of the things that she's bringing to the forefront for all of us. In education, it is so important, as she was saying, that students feel safe, students feel loved, students feel that you care about them. And once you've accomplished that and you've changed that culture so that students want to come to school, they feel welcome in school. They'd rather be in school than at home. And that's where the enjoyment is, because they're learning and we're able to teach them and make them, I'm going to say, beneficial citizens of our society. And that's what we want. That's what we're trying to grow. So what other goals do you have?
Our very first instructional goal is essential standards. I'm pretty sure that most parents have heard of Common Core, and Common Core can sound like an awful headache. I know I've heard some statements made. In Nevada, it's not called Common Core, it's the Nevada Academic Content Standards. Those standards are very broad, and they are what we are supposed to teach in a year, in the 9 months that we have students. It is just overwhelmingly large. So what we've done is narrowed the focus, collaborated with teachers across the district, north and south, to refine and find the most essential standards that students need in order to master that grade level and move on. We are doing that so that we can support teachers and students as we're learning. So the essential content standards that we've identified will be what we track in our data collection tool, which is Mastery Connect. Once we collect the information and see how our students are progressing, we can then drill down and see what does Tom need? I see that Tom struggled with X, Y, and Z. What can I do to support him as he's learning and growing through this standard? And again, I want to remind parents, standards, you're going to master them at the end of the year. So we are using Mastery Connect to show the progress that you are making towards mastering that reading standard or that math standard, whatever content we're working on, and providing a time and space for teachers to discuss that teaching and learning cycle, use the current data that we have of how students are performing so that we could change our teacher moves to help improve what kids are learning. Now, if kids have got it and they understand it, how can I enrich them so that they understand that content at a deeper level?
Absolutely. Look, we are so glad to have Jen to give you all of this information, but you need to follow up with your school, your students, your administrators, and help your students proceed. Thank you. Welcome back. We're glad to have you back with us. I have another guest with me. Her name is Heather Freeman. She's a master gardener with UNR, and We have a lot of information. We're going to switch from education a little, but this is still in the educational area because it's to teach, it's to grow and let you know exactly what's going on in the area of being a Master Gardener.
Thank you for having me back on your show, Dr. Tom.
I am so glad to have you back. And I just feel that there's so many people out there that they need this information and they don't have it. And they're not coming out to learn more, so we have to keep on telling them about it. And I don't mind that at all.
Thank you so much.
But at the same time, you need to come out and see Heather and find out exactly what they have and all the opportunities they have. Now, we're going to go through a lot of that for you so we can let you know what's happening, what's coming up, and where it's available. So Heather, I know some of the people know about your background, but give us a brief overview of your background.
Oh, so I moved to Nevada in 1991.
Okay.
I got a teaching job with NCSD, so listening to Jen talk just now was kind of fun. I taught here for 27 years. In 2008, the opportunity came up for me to take the Master Gardener course.
Yes.
At that time, I was teaching at Mount Charleston Elementary, and they needed a school garden coordinator. And I knew that the Master Gardener program was going to give me a lot of good information and good contacts. And so 3 years at Mount Charleston, we had a wonderful school garden, and then they mothballed that school. And anyway, so fast forward to 2019, they needed someone to proctor the Master Gardener program over at our local Pahrump office, and so that's how I got started over there.
Beautiful.
So,
okay.
So yeah, the last time we just said I was here in February, so
Right.
I would love to share a Master Gardener update with everyone.
Okay.
And I prepared some slides, so I think we'll get those up. So let's see. In February, we needed a new shade structure that was more permanent at our facility. And so I said, sometimes it is best to hire professionals to do the job correctly and quickly. So thankfully, Snowden's crew was able to come and install a really great aluminum pergola that gives us some shade when we're out there harvesting. Also, for safety's sake, we needed a nice culvert put in, and one of our Master Gardeners has a tractor and the know-how to use it.
That helps.
Engineering background, so he was able to come in and
That's wonderful.
install
Okay.
that, which helps mitigate. We haven't had it yet this year, but when water comes rushing down the mountain, we always end up with a flash flood. And
Oh, gee.
we did have that one big rain, and it went down the culvert instead of washing out the garden. So
Okay.
it works.
Okay.
One of our projects is Adopt a Highway Mile. We work with NDOT. Our mile is mile 5 to 6, which roughly is from Blag Road out towards Bunch Street.
Okay.
And the 5 of us, thank goodness, there really wasn't that much trash this time. It seems like it's getting to be less, but we'd really appreciate it. Anyone who has any litter, please throw it away at home.
Well, for the Adopt a Highway, do you have many organizations that come out to do that?
So Clean Up Pahrump has the opposite side of the road from us. There are other organizations that were on NDOT's map. They came out and were at the Earth Day Fair, but I'm not sure all the organizations still know that their name is still on a mile. So
Okay.
we tried to help.
We need to remind them of that.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And just, if you have litter, throw it away at home. Don't throw it out the car window. Common sense. So this spring, we also hosted a Spring in the Garden event, and it was really beautiful over at the garden. It's open dawn to dusk, so any day that it's nice weather day, we have a lot of people come out early in the morning and walk when it's still cool.
Oh, great. Okay.
It was really beautiful over there. We had iris, and our nectarine tree was blooming. Penstemon is an easy perennial here. And the western redbud tree, I call it the Pepto-Bismol tree because it blooms pink every March. It's one of the first things to come out before anything else is blooming.
okay.
It's just gorgeous. Of course, we have a pink lady apple, And one apple is still on the tree this year. The heat was it's just been awful. But, and the Texas mountain laurel is just always beautiful. Big purple chandelier type blossoms that kind of smell like grape Kool-Aid.
Oh.
So it's always beautiful there in the springtime. In April, we were invited by Great Basin College to be part of their campus beautification project. Their team over there worked together and built cute little growing boxes, and we were able to contribute some extra materials like cinder blocks, and they had artists paint a very cute scrolled edge border just to dress up their sidewalk.
Okay.
So if you haven't been over to Great Basin College in a while, stop in. They're now hosting Old West weekends every first Friday and Saturday of the month. So
We need to remind people of that for every
Yeah.
month, because
Right.
that's a fantastic thing that
It
Great
is.
Basin College is doing.
Yep, and so we were very happy to be able to contribute to that. And one of our newest Master Gardeners has also joined the staff at Great Basin College, so we have that partnership going on. Plus, we're right down the street, so some of our Master Gardeners also contributed some plants and things, but
Okay.
I haven't stopped to look at it lately to see how their little garden has survived the heat. But of course, weeds were a big issue this year. There was spring rain.
Because of the rain.
Yeah, February, March, April, we had rain at least once a month, and all of the weed seeds just took off. So we filled our little dumpster over at the extension completely full and smushed it down. Weeds. But the labyrinth is clean, so if anybody wants to walk the labyrinth,
Okay.
it's a nice thing to do. And our hardworking volunteers out there trimming up. So I mentioned earlier the Earth Day Fair at the Bob Rudd Center is always around April 20th. This year we gave away 3 flats of seedlings,
Okay.
tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants that we had grown from seed ourselves. So they weren't nursery plants, we were the nursery.
So you give them away, and then what do people do with them?
To the public to grow their own food in their gardens at home.
Okay. Do they then come back and show you what they've grown?
Well, that's what I'm hoping they'll do at the fall fair, which is coming up.
Okay.
I'm going to get to that. But
Okay.
yeah, it's a way for to increase food accessibility for people that are seasoned gardeners, or maybe somebody has never gardened before. At least they have something to try with a plant. So
My wife is just starting to try some of this. I'm going to get her over to your area.
awesome. We'd
Yes.
love to talk with her. Send her over to us at Farmers Market at Tractor Supply on Saturday morning.
Absolutely.
Okay. We also have accessible free seeds, publications, and this year we tried something new at Earth Day. In the little side back room at the Bob Rudd Center, we gave some talks,
Okay.
and that was pretty well received. So I talked on vermicomposting with worms, and one of our master gardeners gave a chat about creating a garden journal, not only of your gardening experiences, but also planning where to put it and how to think about situating your garden.
Oh.
Yep. So
Education,
education, yeah.
information. This is what it's all about.
Yep. One of our events, I think we're going to do them at least twice a year, spring and fall. We host a Spring in the Garden Day, which is kind of an open house over at the extension. This year, the wind, my goodness, it was such a windy day. We had planned to do learning stations out in the garden, but it was just too windy, so we pivoted and put the information and the free plants indoors. And as people arrived to participate, gave them guided tours. And so it was a way to include the public, and we still had 38 attendees come, so that was good.
What are your hours?
So the exterior of the grounds is open during daylight hours.
Okay.
So as soon as it's safe to see to walk, you can walk around and look at things.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
We ask that everyone, by sunset, you want to be out of there, because we do have beautiful native habitat, which is prime for all sorts of living creatures in the desert,
Okay.
including, we have seen a bobcat.
Wow.
I've never seen a rattlesnake, but I know we do have like coach whips and king snakes who are there hunting the other things that might live there.
Okay.
We have Cooper's hawks, and I just, leave it to the
daylight
animals.
hours.
Yeah, use it during daylight hours. That's when it's
Okay.
safe. Let's see.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. One of our side projects that we started last year, it's been in place for about a year. It was a combination between Tamlin with the coalition, a homeowner who had some raised beds that he wanted removed from his yard, and the manager and handyman over at the Pahrump Valley Spring Mountain Apartments. We put in a singular raised bed just to try it and see how it works.
Okay.
And that garden has done better than the one at the extension.
Wow. And that's a senior garden?
It is. So it's for the residents of the apartments there on the corner. And Tamlin and I continue to meet with them about once a month, provide them seeds, advice. We're going to redo their irrigation for them this year, because about every year you need to look at, stuff gets clogged up with minerals and things.
Gotcha.
So that's our next project, is to redo their irrigation. But they had wonderful carrots and radishes and peas and salad greens. And right now they've got like 3-foot-high okra plants going. So anyway, one of our new master gardeners wrote a wonderful article for us in the Pahrump Life magazine,
Yes.
which got published in the May-June issue. So if anyone was able to read that, it tells you all about the Master Gardener program and how to be part of it.
Well, let's have them go back and read the Pahrump Life magazine for the May-June issue.
Sounds great.
And also, we want you to make sure that you go by and see exactly what Heather is talking about. It's there for your viewing pleasure, and it's there for you. But come back and join us in the next session. Welcome back to our final session for the day. This is something that is just so important when we talk about being a master gardener and understanding growing plants and fruits and vegetables and so on. So we have Heather Freeman. She's going to continue to tell us some of the things that are going on, but we want to invite all of you to come out and see exactly the results of what she's talking about, because it's educational, it's informative, and if you ever thought about planting anything yourself, these are the people that can help you and give you good advice on exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So Heather, tell us more about what's going on with your master garden area and just everything that you have.
Thank you. So one of our programs that we do every week, weather permitting, is the farmers market next to Tractor Supply.
Okay.
Right now we're on summer hours, so we're there from 7:30 to 11 a.m. And it was just National Farmers Market Week. Fun time with trivia raffle prize game.
Oh, okay.
Where everybody's invited to go around and learn about the vendors and the products that they sell. And we put raffle tickets in a prize and draw out
That's wonderful.
for gift bags. Yep.
Okay.
Let's see. If people have questions and we're not available, the extension does have a website that has all of our past publications uploaded and saved.
Great.
So if people have questions and want to look for themselves, they can type in extension.unr.edu and then look for the publications tab, and make sure over on the left-hand side where it says year published to choose all years, because the way the website's set up, it defaults to the current year.
Okay.
So sometimes people have said, I couldn't find the article on roses because it was defaulted to 24.
Okay.
But that's very useful. So if you've ever had your hands on a past publication and maybe decluttered and can't find it back, check our website. It might be there. So.
So your website includes everything, so
Mm-hmm.
there's no excuse for people not having information.
We try. So we often get asked, when's your next class? So you're in luck. Tonight's Tuesday, August 13th, and tomorrow night, Wednesday, August 14th, from 6 to 8 p.m., we'll be over there at the Pahrump Extension Office.
Beautiful.
Watching a fall gardening class by one of the Las Vegas master gardeners named Lori Evans. She's a great teacher.
This is perfect timing.
Yes, it is.
So RSVP right away.
Right. You'll want to text me at 775-990-8322, just so we can make sure and put your name down and reserve a seat, because our conference room can comfortably hold about 20 people. When you get more than that, it kind of gets need a little more
Okay.
elbow room.
Go ahead and reserve your slot.
Give me a text. Okay. Well, then what? What's coming up next? It's time for Fall Festival and Fair. Everybody knows about the carnival rides and the rodeo and the vendor booths and the parade on Saturday morning.
Yes.
But if you've never ventured inside the Bob Rudd Center, that's where we are Fair Week. So we start 3 days before the fair starts, and the Shadow Mountain Quilters start on Monday in taking entries for the fair. So if you have some art or photography or a craft, poetry, writing, we've had kids bring in their Lego sculptures. What else have we had? Wood carvings, furniture, any kind of arts and crafts. For the food and horticulture part, it's preserved foods, so canned goods, jams, jellies, baked goods. If there's any pie bakers out there, please bring your pies. We haven't had any pies entered for quite some time. We just ask that nothing that has to be refrigerated or held at temperature.
Okay.
So not like a flan or something that because we do have the air conditioning set down lower in that back room to keep things fresh.
Yes.
But it's not refrigerator temperature. But
You know, when you mention that, and I know I'm out there every year for the Fall Festival, quite often I'm looking at everything else and I forget about the Bob Root Center. So I want you to repeat what you just said about the Bob Root Center, and hopefully some people will start focusing their attention because you hit the Bob Root Center first.
that's where to go.
So let's
yeah.
go there first and then see everything else, including the carnivals and everything else.
That kind of thing. Yep. So all the information about entering an item into the fair is on the town's website. It's pahrumpnv.gov. And once you get on the main town website, I think it's under the Communities tab, look for 2024 Pahrump Fall Festival. And if you scroll down about halfway down the page, you'll see information about the fair. Intake days are September 16th, 17th, and 18th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Arts and crafts on the first day. Everything enterable. Is that a word? Enterable?
I guess, a new word, word.
All entries accepted
Okay.
on Tuesday the 17th. And then on Wednesday the 18th is reserved for just food and horticulture. So if you have your vegetables that you just picked and you want them to look fresh, or a fresh flower arrangement, we accept those on Wednesday the 18th. And we do lock the door at 6 o'clock. So you have to have all your entries in by 6 p.m. on Wednesday to get them in.
Okay.
You could win a ribbon. We do have just wonderful, that's it though. It's a ribbon, but it's bragging rights. And everybody's usually really proud to display the best things that grew in their garden.
Look what I won.
Look what I won, yep.
Yes,
And
that's
it's a ribbon
beautiful.
to hang on the wall. Plus it's just a lot of fun and interaction. We also have a help desk available there at the fair. So if you have gardening questions, you can ask us there. Let's see, what else? Oh, if you're a canner, please check the headspace on what you've canned, and don't bring the siphoned jars. Are you familiar with the canning process?
No, and I was going to ask, What is that?
So sometimes when things are cooked in the pressure canner or water bath canner, the process is to force the air out and
Right.
vacuum seal it. And sometimes some of the liquid will be forced out too. It doesn't usually affect the quality of the food inside, but it doesn't look the best. And
okay.
yes, just bring us the prettiest jars.
And those are glass jars.
Yes,
Okay.
canning jars.
Got you. Okay.
According to the, let's see, I can't remember the website, but it's University of Georgia is the gold standard for acceptable canning recipes, processing time. That's a whole nother topic on canning, but just we ask that everybody follow the best practices for canning.
And I understand the process, and I'm familiar with the process. I had just not thought about it as canning. I think of cans as canning.
Right, yeah, no, but yes, preserves and jars.
Okay.
Pickles, jams, jellies,
Yes.
salsa.
My mother used to do that. Yes, love it.
We still do. So.
Okay.
Yep, it's a great way to preserve your food for future. This year we are rolling in the giant pumpkin contest. It happened for a few years back in the mid-2000s. Last year we did it between 4th of July and Halloween. People brought their pumpkins in, and the largest winner was 70 pounds.
Wow.
That's a pretty big pumpkin.
That's a big pumpkin.
So this year we gave out seeds earlier in the year so that people could grow them out for Fall Festival. So if you grew a giant pumpkin, please bring it down to Bob Road on either Tuesday the 17th or Wednesday the 18th between 10 and 6. And
Okay.
we will weigh your pumpkin, and hopefully we get a lot of them. Our intent is to have a trailer with them in the parade, if we get enough. Some of our programs that we do as well over at the Extension, looking to the months coming, we do a celebration of lights and trees in the garden around Christmas time. It's a lot of fun decorating the garden, and it's more fun to see the public walk through and ooh and ah.
Oh, great.
We serve hot cocoa, and we've been also offering hot cider, and Master Gardeners bake cookies, and it's just a fun evening to come out and enjoy a decorated space with friends and family. And we have some educational displays about holiday trees and which ones you can plant outdoors and which ones are best as a house plant. Norfolk pine don't do very well outside here.
And this, you get a chance to talk to the experts on exactly when, how, and everything else.
You're right. Yep. We usually there's a fact sheet on how to care for poinsettias,
Okay.
that kind of thing. Then leading right after that, we do live cut tree recycling. So if you've purchased a cut tree and you don't know what to do with it, bring it over. We have a dedicated area that we pile them up every year between Christmas and about the middle of January. And then local arborists brings their big giant chipper shredder over
Oh, okay.
on one day and shreds those all up for us. And we use the mulch to mulch around the trees and plants in the garden, which a 3 to 4 inch layer of mulch can reduce the evaporation by 75%.
So nothing is thrown away.
Right, we recycle, definitely.
That's wonderful.
We also have a
Okay.
compost pile that we put all the garden trimmings, as long as they're not diseased.
Okay.
Yep. And then in January, we usually schedule a pruning workshop with Professor Robinson and have him come out. This last January, it was windy the day he came out again, so we can't control the wind, but we just ask that,
But we try.
we try, yeah. So if you have any questions, you can email us pictures of what's wrong with my plant or what can I do about this at extension SNye, that stands for Southern Nye, MG @unr.edu. And again, our website is extension.unr.edu. And if anyone was interested in getting into the Master Gardener program, it's already started this year.
Okay.
So,
And look, with everything we've given, Heather has given you a lot of information. Please follow up. Follow up with all the information she's provided And thank you and have a wonderful evening.